There's a lot of folks, I would say, in New York who, let's say broadly in the sort of pro-Israel coalition, I think that's how they would describe themselves, who view last night as about that single issue. Basically, what they will say is, particularly if you look at Goldman and Lander, like, this was really about Israel, and it was motivated by people's feelings about Israel. And I think the pro-Israel folks would say, you know, their anger, their rage. Some even say it's anti-Semitism. I don't necessarily sign on to that, but do you think it was, like, fundamentally, is that what it was about the people and the Democratic Party supporting fundamentally or not doing enough to oppose the actions of the Israeli government over the last several years and continuing actions in Gaza?
I think that played a major role. And it played a major role because New Yorkers have had to watch as tens of billions of our tax dollars have been spent on bombs that not only shred international law, but also the lives of civilians. And what they've seen is that while it is a Republican administration that is doing it now, it was also something that was bipartisan and continues to be. And I think there is a desire to see a politics of life be at the center of what we are fighting for. And, you know, I think if you're looking at Brad and his race and his candidacy, he led with such a humanity and in many ways an embodiment of what Mr. Rogers would speak about in the actions of a good neighbor. And he would speak about the fact that he is going to Congress not only to fight against bigotry, whether it be anti-Semitism or Islamophobia, but also to make clear that he is going to fight against the occupation, against the genocide. He's going to co-sponsor, as well as Claire Valdez and Daria Lisa will, the Block the Bombs Act to stop our federal government from sending those kinds of shipments to the Israeli military. And I think that's what's in line with what so many New Yorkers are desperate to see. And all of this is all the more difficult for a New Yorker to accept when at the same time they're having trouble affording life in the nation's most expensive city. At the same time as we're greenlighting tens of billions of dollars for Netanyahu's wars, we're being told, sorry, we just can't help you make it a little bit easier to afford your rent check or your groceries or your childcare or even your public transit. And I think that what we saw is that New Yorkers were fed up with a status quo of our politics where we're stuck explaining why this is the best we're going to have, as opposed to advocating for the working person who's being left behind by that same status quo.
I just feel duty bound to point out the federal government budget is like trillions of dollars, depending whether you account for security. So in the grand scheme of things, I mean, you're right. There's been about $30 billion to Israel. There's lots and lots of billions of dollars that could be found for those things, even if we were to continue.